All right, looks like we're live on Instagram. Okay, this is good. Thanks for joining. We'll let everybody join on here. If you're watching the replay, welcome. Excited to have you join as well. Today we're going to talk about kind of 3 things you can do on your business to help it improve. And I know a lot of us during this time we're probably in a spot where we could use some improvements and some ways to maybe look differently at our business. And so hopefully this will help you and just think a little bit differently during this time and be a little more innovative with your company. So let me just pull up my notes here. All right. Welcome, everybody. Okay, looks like we got some people on. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. So again, we're going to talk today about 3 things you can do in your business to help improve your business. And I think you'll find that they're different than maybe things that you've heard about before. They're less tactical, like less, hey, you need to set these goals, or here's what you can do to motivate yourself, or here's some financial scores you can keep track of. And the reason why is I feel like based on the strengths that we have in our business right now, like you guys know like where you're at, like what your team's good at, where you're at. And so I find the things that we tactically do kind of shift based on the strengths of you and your team and where you're at and what strength of your company and so your focus kind of changes based on where you're at with your company. So I really believe right now, if we can really get back to the mindset of where we need to be and get back to inspiring ourselves to understand, like, why did I start this business? You know, what keeps me excited? Why am I passionate about this? And to give you a little framework for this, so the way I started the company that I have a company called The Center, and we do a lot of services for other companies and really take a lot off their plate. And back in 2006, my background's actually in accounting and finance, and I worked for a CPA firm, and I was just kind of thrown in meeting with tons of business owners, and tons of them would come in and we would talk about their taxes, and this was 2006, so before the recession hit, and things were good, things were booming, people were making lots of money, and yet like nobody was happy. And I remember seeing like there's no spark in people and there's no excitement, and I thought, you know, I'm a pretty passionate, energetic person, and I get excited about entrepreneurship. I get excited about helping businesses out. And I thought, this is not what I thought it was supposed to be. You know, I'm pretty young, early 20s at the time. And I thought, you know, there's got to be a better way so that business owners and entrepreneurs and executives, we don't lose that spark that got us in to wanting to do this. And so I kind of went on this journey of just analyzing, you know, how can we better help business owners so they don't lose sight of what's important. And so I started to think about ways we could do like virtual accounting work or virtual phone answering, and just different ways so they could really focus and remember what's important to them. And so I kind of that same concept of what I saw business owners going through, I realized that a lot of them probably have just got so stuck in the day-to-day and just trying to get through each day and putting out fires that they really lost sight of why they did what they did. And so the 3 things that I want to talk to you guys about today are things that I've actually written for quite a while, as far as things that I feel like are important for the success of companies. And the first one is simplicity. And our motto in our company that we have is we make business simple. And simple is like, I have a plaque that says simplicity on it. And that's like a plaque that I've had for a long time. And so the word simple has always meant a lot to me. And probably because I'm probably the most complex brain, because I have this ability to see all the details of things and know where the gaps are and what's missing. And so I'm the first one to overcomplicate things. And so it's probably a reminder to myself to make sure that I keep things simple and always trying to figure out like a way to pull this data together and make a framework around it. And so that's kind of what I've done with these 3 things is as I thought about all these things that business owners struggle with and things that they can work on, I realized that these 3 things are the things that they can really help them. So the first one, like I said, is simplicity. And really there's several aspects of simplicity that you can tie to your business. The first is like simplifying your message. And the way to first start doing that is remember what your origin story was. Remember why you started this business. And I think we all go into business for different reasons, you know, whether, hey, I want to start a business, I want ownership of that. I can't find other employment opportunities. I don't want to work for somebody else anymore. I have this dream, this passion. And like for me, it's been part of me for so long. So it was just a big part of who I wanted to be. Maybe people want to do it as a side thing, a second career. They see a gap in the market, a problem that they can solve. They want freedom. So many reasons we all go into business, and I think it's important to reflect back on that origin story and what started. For me, it was seeing that business owners were struggling, and I realized that they weren't looking at what their purpose was, and reflecting back on why am I doing what I'm doing, and who am I supposed to be, and why is this important. And so for me, I've always been, my big why for myself is being true to my purpose, and then inspiring others to be true to theirs. And so I'm always reflecting back on that, and how I can just inspire people to be more true to that. So once you go and you find your origin story, I want you to do an exercise for me, and it's called the 7 levels deep exercise. And I actually got this, there's different versions of it. 7 levels deep is what Dean Graziosi calls it. But you can, if you go and you say, this is important to me, like, so this business is important to me because of, and list the reason. And whatever that reason is, then you want to go 7 levels more deep. So take that reason and say, okay, that reason is important to me because of this. And then do it again. Okay, so that new reason is important to me because of this. And I think you'll be surprised on where you end up. And for me, I did it, and I ended up being like, I realized that I can further unify families, communities, in the world by simplifying entrepreneurship, like the impact that that's going to have on the human experience and the world through entrepreneurship is what's going to change. And I thought, like, that to me is how I really started to really get clarity of what my vision was. So that leads me to my next thing. So after you kind of go back to your origin story and figure out what the deep reasons are, do you have a vision for your company, a purpose statement, whatever you want to call it, some infinite thing that you'll never be able to accomplish that you can strive for, and your employees can strive for, and you realize that it's like just you realize it's an unattainable goal, but if you put all your effort in it, you'll be able to make a huge dent in whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. And I think if you don't have a vision and a pathway and a path forward, you're just kind of reacting to life and reacting to your business. And so to simplify your message, again, go back to your origin story, go 7 levels deep with it, refine your vision, make sure you understand it, make sure the people on your team know it, and then make sure you have core values to accompany that vision. And don't just say honesty, integrity, make them actionable. So our core values, our company is do the right thing, embrace the uncomfortable, get it done, and build people up. And you'll be surprised. I mean, our company, we're always like, we're always citing those when we're talking about things. And you'll be surprised at how often the core values come up. And so whenever you make decisions in your business, it's no longer so much pressure to know if you're doing what's right for your business, because if you have a clear vision and you have clear core values, every decision you make, you can put to that test, and not just, is this going to make me more money? Like, that's not the test you want to put it to. Obviously, you don't want to make bad financial decisions, but sometimes you do make decisions that don't always make sense, or maybe it doesn't benefit the short-term game, but it does benefit the long-term game with your vision and with your core values. So just simplify your message, and so that's the first part of simplifying. And then the second part of simplifying is just simplifying your focus. There's something that I heard from somebody called the circle of focus. And if you start to divide, and they were relating it to marketing, so they were just applying to one little aspect of your business. And they were like, if you're focused on YouTube and Facebook ads, and they listed all these things, it's like you're now pulled all these different ways in your business. And I'm like, that's just marketing. So if you think about, then you have accounting, and then you have to get your phones answered and schedule appointments, and then you have to support your customers, and you have to get orders. And I mean, you just keep going, operations, and there's just so many aspects of business. And I'm not saying that to overwhelm you. I'm saying that to make sure you have a team on board to really support you. And if you don't have it in-house already, use a company like the center that we have, to help outsource some of those functions. So you don't have to worry about all of it. So focus on your core, because you'll start to not be happy anymore after a while if you're trying to do all those things. So even if your product is niche focused, because there's so many aspects of business, it's very difficult to remain niche focused because of all the different things, marketing, sales, service and support, employee engagement, accounting, technology, all of these different components that are part of business. And you don't have to go at it alone. There's people there that can support you and that can get you through to keep you focused. My team does such a good job protecting my time and keeping me focused. And it's just been amazing to be at that point. And I think you'll find as you listen to a lot of my videos, I'm so adamant about the visionaries and the people that are at the helm that need to have a clear head and a clear view. Get out of the woods, and really make sure you have good people around you to keep you out. And that's so important. So first aspect to improve your business, like I said, is simplicity. So that relates to your messaging as well as what you're focusing on. And I loved when I had somebody on our team mentioned about what the definition of simplicity is, and they said, in order to be able to make things easier to understand and have more clarity, you first have to have a lot of knowledge first. And so it's almost as if, so to make things simple, you almost have to go back and gain knowledge about, again, why you're in business, what's important to you. And then if you go back to the roots of that and kind of get in the trenches a little bit just to understand, your frameworks and where your focus needs to be, then you can start to make things simple. But sometimes you do have to get first complex and get it and work really hard to get out of the mess in order to simplify it. So I just love that because, like I said, I'm the first one to sometimes overcomplicate things. So I know that because I have a deep understanding, it allows me to kind of simplify the message and get it across. So, all right, the second one is innovation. And it's probably different than what most of you will think of from innovation. I define innovation a little bit differently. A lot of you might think of innovation as the best technology that's out there, or being innovative with a new feature or things like that, or even a novel idea. Like, to me, those are all, it's not really showing the reason why we're innovating. And hey guys, hi Caitlin, hi Emily. So with innovation, it was cool because I always thought of it this way, and then I heard Tony Robbins say this too. Like, he's like, innovation is really how to better serve your customers. And I expand that definition to be better serve your customers, your strategic partners, and your employees, because I think serving all of them in balance is very critical. If you're out of balance with one of those, it's really tough to grow the company in sync. And so really, if you look at innovation as how to better serve your customers, I think it's such a I don't know, if you really think about why you're in business, like if you're only focused on your product and not focused on what your customers are thinking or what their problem is, you're going to struggle in business, and you're most likely going to have competitors passing you up. Because at the end of the day, what we're all trying to do is improve that human experience. And really, that's a big part of our vision at the center is really improving the human experience through the customer experience, the partnership experience, and the employee experience. And we know that by simplifying entrepreneurship, like, we can make a bigger impact on the human experience around the world. And I think every company needs to have that mindset to a degree, like, how can I better serve my customers? And so when you think about innovation, don't think of it from how can I get the better technology? Think of it as, how can I better serve my customers? And whoever can be the best at that is the one that's going to win in the market. And so again, just shifting your mindset. So if you look at what can you do today to improve, if all your focus is on your product, again, you're going to be the cab industry versus the Uber industry. Uber was focused on the customer and how to better serve them. And that's why they thought of that idea. And I think so many companies get stuck in the product trap that is why they get passed up by these smaller, more innovative companies. Again, innovation, how to better serve the customer. And so just, again, refocus, get you in the right mindset. Once you understand your vision, once you understand your core values, and once you understand your ideal customer, then you can go forward and start to better serve them. So one of the diagrams I often draw for my team is around the concept of people, process, and technology. And really, what we talk about is those three things have to be in balance in order to serve the human experience. So you'll hear that human experience is a big buzzword that we use in our company. And they're in the diagram, when you have people and process together, that allows for better collaboration. When you have process and technology together, that allows for better automation. And then when you have technology and people together, that allows for better innovation. And so it kind of that model still kind of applies to what my definition of what innovation was. If you think about, we're creating all these technologies, but if we're not doing it to serve the people better. If we're inventing robots and using artificial intelligence, which I'm all for and a huge proponent of, but if it's to replace humans and not edify and uplift and make the human experience better, what's the point? And so I think is if we shift our mindset to innovation of how can I better serve people, whether that's our customers, our employees, or our strategic partners, it's important. They all serve a purpose, and it's important to keep them all in balance and happy. So, all right. So again, first thing to improve your company is simplicity, simplifying your message and simplifying your focus. The second thing is innovation, how to better serve your customers. So now you have this great vision, you have this great idea, and you know how to serve your customers, and now you have to get that message out to the world. So the third one is marketing. And I love this quote that I don't know, it says anonymous, I don't know who wrote it, but this quote always stuck with me of why marketing is important, and I'm just going to read it. It says, your marketing function drives success in your business, and the purpose of every other function in your business is your admin, operations, accounting, etc., is to support the marketing function. If you have the best kept secret out there, what's the point? So you have to get out there, you have to market and get the word out there. And that is probably intimidating to some of you out there that aren't maybe more kind of the traditional business, and it's not working like it used to, some of the networking that used to take place. And so you're struggling with how to get the message out there. I remember going to a convention, or what was it? It was kind of like a mastermind group, actually, and there were tons of insurance agents there, and they all had the same question. Like, I don't know how to get my product out there. And it's tough, like some of those regulated industries too, because you can't be, you have to report back to the head company and try to figure out what you can and can't do. And so you just have to jump to the loopholes. But at the end of the day, you have to market, you have to get your messaging out there. And I really kind of attribute marketing to 4 areas that I really like to put focus on. So first, you obviously have to figure out what your strategy and your brand is like. But that's once you have that messaging down, that clear messaging and the brand, then the other 4 elements come into play. The first is organic reach. So whether you're out there, you have more of a traditional website where you're creating content and blogs, and you're creating SEO related stuff, like that's more of the organic side. So if people are out there searching, you want to be the information they find. Otherwise, they're going to find the bad stuff or your competitors. And so you have to be creating content out there so that when they search for questions, they can find answers. There's a book that I had read. It's called They Ask You Answer. And the reason why I liked it was because it put importance on why always being 100% transparent and asking every question or answering every question your customer will have, and putting it out there on the web. So that way, people are going to self-learn now. Like 80% of the sales process happens during the marketing phase now. Sales is actually a very small percentage now. And I believe over the next decade, it's no longer going to be 80-20. It's going to be closer to 90-95, and maybe 5% close after they talk to somebody. And so right now, there's so many things that are closing 100% before they even talk to anybody. And so things are shifting. It used to be the other way, where 20% was marketing, and then 80% was done after they talked to somebody, and people would build trust on the call. But now people want to build their own trust. They want to go out there and research everybody. And so if you're not on the web, they'll assume that you don't exist or that you're not very credible. And so with marketing, focus on, you need the organic reach component. And then you have the paid side. And this is important because where your customers are congregating. And what's great with paid is you can go find them and pull them in and get them to see what you're saying, and realize that, if your messaging aligns with what they do, they're going to click on it and they're going to look. And so paid is a way to kind of get things moving faster than organic reach. Organic reach is important, but it takes time. And it's important to start that process. But paid is a great way to kind of ramp things up and get things out. But again, if you have paid but no organic reach, if people see a paid sales funnel, but then they're like, oh, I'm going to go research this person to see who they are, and they don't have anything else out there, then it's not going to build credibility to you as well. And so that's why both are important. The paid side related to sales funnels and paid ads, and I can go do full Facebook Lives on those. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail with those. And then the third aspect of marketing is nurturing those leads. So, you're getting these emails accounts, you're getting people on your social medias, you need to work on giving them value and nurturing them, not just selling them all the time, but really giving them value and allowing them to see that and realize that you can be the thought leader in your industry and in your market. And so I think it's really important to not forget about those people that have signed up for your newsletters or a product or an ebook or whatever it is. So, and then the fourth area of marketing is what I call social selling, and it's something that's I've evolved and changed over the years. We used to do pretty traditional sales techniques and handoffs and things like that, and I realized that people, again, want to research you and see if you're on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn and see that you have a presence. And so a great way to get clients is actually going and finding them and where they're congregating, start engaging with them and start adding value. And so social selling is no longer picking up the phone and doing a bunch of cold calls. It's finding them online and engaging with them. And so I really put that social selling in marketing and not necessarily as a sales component. Because I really like marketing to stay more revenue focused versus lead focused, and anymore, because so much of the sales process happens in marketing, it's important to make sure the marketing team is revenue focused and not just lead focused. And so that's kind of, hopefully I went into enough depth to get you kind of thinking about some of these things, but not too much to overwhelm you. There's so much that you can do, but just remember this: think about what you're good at, think about what you're willing to do now, because consistency is so important. Making sure that, hey, I can't do all that marketing stuff, and I'm not very good at all that, but I can do this one thing, and I can be consistent at that. And then you do that, and then you can start to build upon that. And then you can be like, okay, maybe you don't want to do the next thing, but you want to outsource the next thing component. And so you go find somebody, and then they can build on that. And so you don't have to go at it alone. But if I had to choose 3 areas to really focus on, especially during this time, when you have some time to reflect and be like, okay, how am I going to get out and market my company when you feel bad? Maybe you feel a little bad marketing right now, or but if you intrinsically feel that what you have is going to benefit somebody, then it will not feel like you're selling them. You will feel like you're doing them you're going to be able to help them out through this time, and not like you're trying to just pitch them something to buy. And so I think that's why these 3 things are probably the most important thing I can think of right now for you to focus on. Making sure you have a simple message, understanding what it is, figuring out how to better serve your customers through innovation, and then getting that messaging out to the world. And so if you focus on those 3, all the other things will start to come together. And so if you like what you heard, please comment. Let me know what you liked. I would love to hear what things kind of stuck out for you, and then maybe I can do a live to go in deeper on some of those components, because I know I just kind of brushed over on those 3 things. And then do like my page, because I would love to have you keep seeing what I have. And if you like what you saw here, if you have any questions, if you want to have a team to kind of help you with some of these things, my team is amazing. They literally keep me freed up, and all those things I mentioned, my team does, and they're just really great at it. So that site I'll put here. It's thecentr.com. So THECENTR.com. And that is, they're just amazing. So thank you. I hope you guys are all doing so well during this time. I know it's, things are starting to maybe open up a little bit. The sun is shining, at least here in Boise, Idaho, and it makes it really tough to just not always be out. And so I want you guys to stay passionate about your business. I love entrepreneurship. Don't be discouraged. We're going to get through this. And if you're struggling with anything, please comment. I would love to be able to do another live, or just give information in any way I can. So, all right. With that being said, thanks everybody. I hope this was beneficial, and we'll see you on Thursday. How can you get notes from this live? I don't know. You can watch it. I know they're going to put the transcription on this when it's done. They do post it on my YouTube account too. I guess Clayton, we'll discuss that and figure out how we can get you that. I mean, I do have actually, why don't I write some up? That's what I'll do. I'll write some up. We can make a document on it, because I love these 3 things. I'm glad you mentioned that, because one of the things that I'm working on is actually a course around this. We're going to offer it internally for all of our center clients as part of their subscription they buy with us. So this was actually the precursor to that. I thought I would just start going live and starting to talk about it, but I'm going to be building kind of a course around this too. And so, but we can kind of jot the rough notes and put them together. I think it might be kind of cool to make a document around that. So, and then we'll get it posted in the comments on this video. So, all right. Thanks, everybody. We will see you on Thursday.